At the outbreak of the war in 1939, I was 15 years old, and I lived in Krakow in Poland. Um, we were not a very religious family. We were not like the Hasidic Jews. No, we weren't like that. We didn't wear the big black hat and the peers and the long beard. My father ran a business in making shoes. But anyway, I always felt when I was growing up in Krakow that we were never fully accepted by the Polish people. Even though my ancestors had been in Krakow for 500 years, and I never felt as though I was accepted. Even though I played with the children who were not Jewish. We spoke Yiddish, true, but we could also speak Polish as well, you know. But it was a very serious time. My parents seemed to be very worried. This thing seemed to be not going right. They could see that there was trouble ahead 2 years earlier in 1937. So, anyway, the war started on the 1st of September 1939, and it lasted 7 days. And the Nazis entered Krakow on the 7th of September 1939. I remember being out on the street and seeing all these men marching along the street, not very far from Wawel Castle. And so we didn't think it was going to be big trouble. I was only 15. I didn't realize what was going to happen in the end. Anyway, things did get very hard indeed. Um, my father's business was taken over by some German, and we had to vacate the house. We had a very big house in the center of Krakow, and we were moved south of the river to an area into the ghetto, the ghetto. So we went from this very big house into a room where we shared it with another family. For every window in the house, it would be a family. So in our room, we had two windows, so that meant we had to share with two families. But things got very bad. I got shifted off to a camp 2-3 kilometers south to the Płaszów camp, and where it was very hard indeed. But I was able to go home, back to the ghetto. That was it. But things got really bad. I remember I was when I went back to the camp in Płaszów. There I came back one day and to the ghetto, and I found it very, very quiet. Very quiet. There were not many people about. So I wondered why, but someone who was there told me what happened, that all the people had been shifted out of the ghetto, and they had been put. He didn't know where they went, but they just went. The soldiers came in the daytime, and they took all the people away. We all know what happened. I believe it's only years later I realized that those people went to a camp called Bezek, and they were never seen again. It was a shocking time. And then there was one time when I was in the ghetto, the soldiers came, the Nazis came, and they started to round people up, and they had no regard for people, no regard for people, and they would take children. This was unbelievable, totally unbelievable. They would take children and they would smash their head against the wall. It was unbelievable. I can't believe I'm saying these things. It was just incredibly horrible time to live. But I managed to get a place in a factory not next to the ghetto, which was run by a German businessman called Oscar Schindler. And I went to work with Schindler. It was a totally different environment to be there. He was, even though he walked around, he had on a badge here, Nazi badge. But he was a different man. The life in the factory was very, very good, very good, very good. I felt as though I was very lucky to be there because I had the work in the Płaszów camp was very, 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 very bad. But then I got shifted to the factory with Schindler, and it was absolutely marvelous, but things were getting very bad indeed. It's only later that I realized that what they were trying to do, they were trying to liquidate the whole ghetto, so that there would be nobody left there, nobody left. It was, anyway, I managed, as we all know now, people who were lucky to get onto the Schindler's list, on the list with Schindler. But apparently, Schindler didn't dictate the list. No, that's not true. There was a man, I can't remember his name now, but I think Schindler must have told him to who people he should have on the list and to take to the factory he had in Czechoslovakia, in Brinlich. But that is the truth of the matter. But he was an amazing man. He was totally amazing. Anyway, but when we went off to the camp in Czechoslovakia, and we spent the rest of the war there, and but I'd never go back. I'd go back to Poland, but you couldn't go back to Poland. No, that was not possible. In 1945, the communists had come and had taken over the country, and it was not possible to go back. Even though my family owned a big house in Krakow, and we'd never get it. I'd never get it back. It's then that I had to make the decision where to go. So then I decided to emigrate to America. But it's a very shame. I was the experiences that one had at that time was so bad, so shockingly bad. I wouldn't know. It was just unbelievable what a human being could do against another human being. It was so tragic.